Section 1 from the book of Genesis. Now the serpent was more subtle than any animal of the field which for everyone God had made. He said to the woman, "Has God really said, 'You shall not eat of any tree of the garden'?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees of the garden, but not the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. God said, 'You shall not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die.'" The serpent said to the woman, "You won't really die, for God knows that in the day you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took some of its fruit, and ate. And she gave some to her husband with her, and he ate it too. Their eyes were opened, and they both knew that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. They heard the voice of Forever One God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Forever One God among the trees of the garden. Forever One God called to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" The man said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." He said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." Forever One God said to the woman, "What's this you've done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Section 2 from the book of Joshua. On that day, Forever One magnified Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they feared him as they feared Moses all the days of his life. Forever One spoke to Joshua, saying, "Command the priests who bear the ark of the testimony that they come up out of the Jordan." Joshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, "Come up out of the Jordan." When the priests who bore the ark of the covenant of Forever One had come up out of the middle of the Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet were lifted up to the dry ground, the waters of the Jordan returned to their place, and went over all its banks, as before. The people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and encamped in Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. Joshua set up those 12 stones, which they took out of the Jordan in Gilgal. He spoke to the children of Israel, saying, "When your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, 'What do these stones mean?' then you shall let your children know, saying, 'Israel came over this Jordan on dry land.' For Forever One your God dried up the waters of the Jordan from before you, until you had passed over, as Forever One your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up from before us, until we had passed over, that all the peoples of the earth may know the hand of Forever One that is mighty, that you may fear Forever One your God forever." When all the kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites who were by the sea, heard how Forever One had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we had passed over, their heart melted, neither was there spirit in them any more, because of the children of Israel. At that time Forever One said to Joshua, "Make flint knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time." Joshua made himself flint knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. This is the reason Joshua circumcised all the people who came out of Egypt, who were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness on the way, after they came out of Egypt. For all the people who came out were circumcised, but all the people who were born in the wilderness on the way as they came out of Egypt had not been circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, until all the nation, even the men of war who came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they did not listen to the voice of Forever One. For everyone swore to them that he wouldn't let them see the land which for everyone swore to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. Their children, whom he raised up in their place, were circumcised by Joshua, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them on the way. When they were done circumcising all the nation, they stayed in their places in the camp until they were healed. For everyone said to Joshua, "Today I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off of you." Therefore the name of that place was called Gilgal to this day. The children of Israel encamped in Gilgal. They kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at evening in the plains of Jericho. They ate unleavened cakes and parched grain of the produce of the land on the next day after the Passover, in the same day. The manna ceased on the next day after they had eaten the produce of the land. The children of Israel didn't have manna any more, but they ate the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. When Joshua was by Jericho, he lifted up his eyes and looked. Behold, a man stood in front of him, with his sword drawn in his hand. Joshua went to him and said to him, "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" He said, "No, but I have come now as commander of for everyone's army." Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped and said to him, "What does my Lord say to his servant?" The prince of for everyone's army said to Joshua, "Take your shoes off of your feet, for the place on which you stand is holy." Joshua did so. Section 3 from the book of Ruth. She went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law told her. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain. She came softly, uncovered his feet, and laid herself down. At midnight the man was startled and turned, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. He said, "Who are you?" She answered, "I am Ruth, your handmaid. Therefore spread your skirt over your handmaid, for you are a near kinsman." He said, "Blessed are you by forever one, my daughter. You have shown more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as you didn't follow young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do to you all that you say, for all the city of my people does know that you are a worthy woman. Now, it is true that I am a near kinsman. However, there is a kinsman nearer than I. Stay this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform for you the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman's part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman for you, then I will do the part of a kinsman for you. As forever one lives, lie down until the morning." She lay at his feet until the morning. She rose up before one could discern another, for he said, "Let it not be known that the woman came to the threshing floor." He said, "Bring the mantle that is on you and hold it." She held it, and he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her, and he went into the city. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, "How did it go, my daughter?" She told her all that the man had done to her. She said, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, for he said, 'Don't go empty-handed to your mother-in-law.'" Then she said, "Sit still, my daughter, until you know how the matter will fall, for the man will not rest until he has finished the thing today." Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there. Behold, the near kinsman of whom Boaz spoke came by, to whom he said, "Come over here, friend, and sit down." He turned aside and sat down. He took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit down here." They sat down. He said to the near kinsman, "Naomi, who has come back out of the country of Moab, is selling the parcel of land which was our brother Elimelech's. I thought to disclose it to you, saying, 'Buy it before those who sit here and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is no one to redeem it besides you, and I am after you.' He said, 'I will redeem it.' Section 4 from the book of Matthew. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry afterward. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." But he answered, "It is written, people shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of God's mouth." Then the devil took him into the holy city. He set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you don't dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, you shall not test for everyone your God." Again the devil took him to an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. He said to him, "I will give you all of these things if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get behind me, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship for everyone your God, and you shall serve him only." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and served him. Now, when Jesus heard that John was delivered up, he withdrew into Galilee. Leaving Nazareth, he came and lived in Capernaum, which is by the sea, in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken through Isaiah the prophet, saying, "The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali toward the sea, beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, the people who sat in darkness saw a great light. To those who sat in the region and shadow of death, to them light has dawned." From that time Jesus began to preach and to say, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." Walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. He said to them, "Come after me, and I will make you fishers for people." They immediately left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, in the boat with Zebedee their father, mending their nets. He called them. They immediately left the boat and their father and followed him.